your 10-cent coin could be worth a fortune. From silver dimes before 1965 to rare error coins from the 70s, 80s, and 2000s, collectors pay top dollar for Roosevelt dimes. Here's what you need to check before you spend it. In 1980, the United States Mint was striking millions of Roosevelt dimes for circulation, a coin that by then had been in use for more than 3 decades. Since its first release in 1946, the Roosevelt dime had become an everyday coin in the pockets, purses, and cash registers of America. The design, created to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt after his death, carried a simple yet powerful look, with his profile on the obverse and a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. The coin seemed so ordinary, just another piece of change that most people hardly noticed. But within the production of the 1980 dime, an extraordinary error occurred that transformed this 10-cent coin into one of the most valuable modern U.S. coins, with examples selling for astonishing amounts ranging between $52,500 and $131,000. The intrigue of the 1980 dime lies in how such a simple coin could hold such incredible value. Errors in coin production are nothing new, but they become prized when they are dramatic, rare, and easy to identify. In the case of the 1980 Roosevelt dime, collectors uncovered remarkable minting blunders that turned what should have been a common pocket change coin into a numismatic legend. Some of these errors include off-center strikes, dramatic double strikes, missing clad layers, and misaligned dies. These kinds of mistakes make the coin visually unusual, and because they happened on such a widely used denomination, they attract even more attention. What makes the 1980 dime error especially fascinating is the fact that the Roosevelt dime was struck using a clad composition, copper sandwiched between outer layers of copper nickel. This design was introduced in 1965 when silver was removed from circulating dimes. By 1980, the Mint had mastered the process, but even with modern machinery, errors still occurred. Missing clad layer dimes from 1980 are among the most sought after because they reveal the copper core beneath, giving the coin an unusual appearance that instantly catches the eye. Instead of the shiny silver color people expect from a dime, one side or sometimes both sides reveal a reddish or brownish copper surface. Coins like this are highly desirable and can sell for tens of thousands of dollars when in pristine condition. Other errors from 1980 include dramatic off-center strikes. An off-center error happens when the blank planchet is not seated properly in the press, causing the design to strike only part of the coin. In some cases, the coin shows 50% or more blank space, making it visually striking and rare. Collectors love these dramatic off-center dimes because they make the mistake obvious and unique. A perfectly preserved 1980 off-center dime can fetch extraordinary prices at auction, especially when combined with a full visible date. That visibility of the date is key, because collectors want to know for sure that the coin is indeed from the rare 1980 production. Double strikes are another incredible variety seen among the 1980 dimes. These errors occur when the coin fails to eject properly after the first strike, resulting in the coin being struck again at a different angle. The result is a coin with overlapping or distorted images of Roosevelt's profile or the reverse torch design. Double strike errors are some of the most dramatic mint mistakes and instantly attract the attention of serious collectors and investors. Among all these error types, it is the rarest and most visually impressive examples that drive the value of the 1980 dime up to the staggering range of $52,500 to $131,000. When these coins appear at auction, the excitement among bidders is electric. Collectors know they are competing for something that is not only rare but also a conversation piece that captures the unpredictable nature of minting. The Roosevelt dime itself adds to the appeal because of who it honors. Roosevelt is remembered for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, and the dime was chosen because of his association with the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio, the disease that had affected him personally. Every time someone looks at a Roosevelt dime, they see not only a coin but a piece of American history. When a 1980 dime error emerges, it is like holding both history and mystery in one tiny coin. For many collectors, the thrill is in the hunt. Thousands of people still search through rolls of dimes from banks, coin dealers, and estate sales, hoping to stumble upon one of these rare 1980 errors. The idea that a coin worth only 10 cents in face value could actually be worth as much as $131,000 is enough to keep the hunt alive. Stories circulate in the coin-collecting community of lucky finds. Someone casually going through pocket change or old jars of coins left behind by parents or grandparents, only to discover that they are holding one of the rarest modern error dimes in existence. The condition of the coin plays a major role in determining its value. A 1980 dime error found in circulation might show wear from years of use, reducing its value. But a coin discovered early and preserved in pristine condition, free of scratches and discoloration, can command a much higher price. This is why collectors often send their error dimes to grading services like PCGS or NGC, which authenticate the error, assign a grade, and encapsulate the coin in a protective holder. Having a high grade on a certified 1980 dime error can mean the difference between a coin worth a few $1,000s and one worth over $100,000. The fascination with mint errors goes beyond their rarity. They tell a story of how even the most precise machinery and processes can go wrong, and how those mistakes sometimes slip through quality control to become lasting treasures. The 1980 dime reminds us that perfection is not always what makes something valuable. Sometimes it is the imperfections that make an item truly extraordinary. Collectors and investors are willing to pay premium prices for these coins because they know how few exist. The exact number of surviving 1,980 dime errors is unknown, but estimates suggest that only a handful of the most valuable varieties exist in the world today. That scarcity is what drives prices into the remarkable range of $52,500 to $131,000, making the coin not just a collectible but a serious investment piece. What makes these coins even more engaging is their accessibility. Unlike ancient gold coins or extremely rare early American issues, the 1980 dime is modern enough that anyone might stumble across one. This accessibility keeps the dream alive for everyday people who may not see themselves as collectors but still check their change out of curiosity. Every dime passed in daily transactions holds the potential, however slim, of being a hidden treasure. Auction houses have documented some incredible sales of 1980 dime errors. In several cases, collectors have watched bidding wars push prices higher and higher as determined buyers refuse to back down. The excitement builds not only in the auction hall but also across the numismatic community, as collectors and enthusiasts read about the final hammer price and marvel at how a 10-cent coin could sell for over $100,000. These stories inspire others to begin searching, creating an ongoing cycle of discovery and fascination. The 1980 Roosevelt dime error coin is a reminder of why people collect in the first place. It's about more than the monetary value. It's about the history, the thrill of discovery, the connection to something rare and unusual. Collectors feel a sense of pride in owning something so unique, knowing that only a handful of others in the world have the same piece. For investors, the coin represents not just a collectible but a tangible asset with a proven record of appreciating in value. In a broader sense, coins like the 1980 dime error symbolize the unpredictability of life itself. Out of millions of ordinary dimes struck that year, only a tiny fraction bore the errors that would make them special. That randomness mirrors the way small events in history can create extraordinary outcomes. Holding such a coin is like holding a reminder that rarity and value can emerge from the most unexpected places. For those who are passionate about collecting, the 1980 dime error remains a bucket list coin. It combines rarity, beauty, and historical significance with the allure of a six-figure price tag. With values ranging between $52,500 and $131,000, it continues to astonish not only seasoned collectors but also casual observers who never thought a dime could be worth so much. Every time one of these coins comes to market, it reignites interest and excitement, proving that the world of numismatics is as alive and thrilling as ever. The year 2001 may not seem so far away in terms of history, yet when it comes to numismatics, even coins just a couple of decades old can carry huge significance. The U.S. dime, as we know it today, features President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a design that has been in circulation since 1946. By 2001, the design itself wasn't unusual. Billions of Roosevelt dimes had already been minted across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But what makes this year's error dime special is that something went wrong during its creation. Errors can include misstrikes, double dies, off-center strikes, or even planchet issues where the blank metal disc used to make the coin is flawed. These mistakes may sound like factory defects, But for collectors, they create one-of-a-kind rarities. And rarity is the foundation of value in the coin world. Let's focus on the story of the 2001 dime era that turned this ordinary pocket change into an extraordinary collectible. For most of the general public, these coins slipped by unnoticed. Someone may have received one in their change while buying groceries or paying for gas. It might have been tossed into a coin jar or jingled around in a child's piggy bank. To the untrained eye, it was just another dime. But to collectors who carefully examine every detail, the lettering, the date, the mint mark, the alignment, and even the thickness of the strike, it became clear that some of these 2001 dimes carried mistakes that separated them from the billions of flawless coins. Errors often occur because of the immense speed and volume at which the U.S. Mint produces coins. In 2001, the Philadelphia Mint alone produced hundreds of millions of dimes. When coins are struck at such high speed, even a small misalignment of the die, a doubling of the engraving, or the use of an incorrect planchet can result in unique outcomes. And once those flawed coins slip through quality checks and enter circulation, they become hidden treasures waiting to be found. That's why collectors often say the best place to find valuable coins is not in an auction house but in loose change. The key to the 2001 error dime's extraordinary value is its uniqueness. Not all error coins are created equal. Some errors are minor, like small die cracks or slightly off-center strikes, and these usually fetch only modest premiums. But when an error is bold, striking, and easily noticeable, the value skyrockets. For instance, some 2001 dimes have been reported with dramatic off-center strikes, where part of the coin's design is missing entirely because the blank was misaligned during striking. Others show double die obverse, where Roosevelt's face or the date itself appears to have a shadow or doubling effect. These are the kinds of errors that transform a 10-cent coin into a collectible worth tens of thousands of dollars. Collectors and investors alike know that rarity drives price, but condition amplifies it. Coins in pristine condition, known as mint state, command the highest values at auction. If an error dime from 2001 has been preserved in near-perfect state, free of scratches, heavy wear, or discoloration, then its appeal to collectors intensifies. This is why you see staggering price ranges. In some cases, these error dimes have fetched between $46,500 and $120,000 depending on the exact nature of the error and the coin's condition. The difference between the lower and upper ends of the price range often comes down to rarity, demand, and preservation. What's fascinating about stories like this is the human side behind them. Imagine the surprise of someone who one day decided to check the change in their pocket more closely, only to discover that the dime they almost ignored could pay off debts, buy a car, or even make a down payment on a house. Auction houses have reported similar scenarios time and again, where coins that initially seemed ordinary stunned sellers and buyers alike with their final hammer prices. The 2001 dime error is a perfect example of this numismatic magic. For those just starting out in coin collecting, stories like this often ignite a passion. They start searching their own change, looking at every detail, and diving deeper into the history of coins. Collectors know that errors are rare, but the thrill of discovery is part of the chase. And even if most dimes from 2001 are just worth face value, the possibility that one could be worth up to $120,000 makes the hunt worthwhile. This particular coin also highlights the importance of knowledge in the numismatic world. Knowing what to look for, whether it's a doubling in the date, an off-center strike, or missing design elements, can make all the difference. Many people pass these coins by without realizing what they're holding. But collectors with trained eyes and patience turn those overlooked details into opportunities. This is why coin shows, auctions, and even online communities buzz with conversations about new discoveries, values, and trading opportunities. Beyond the financial aspect, the 2001 dime era represents a piece of history, a snapshot of the minting process that went wrong in a way that turned ordinary into extraordinary. It tells us something about the craftsmanship, the machinery, and the fallibility of even the most precise systems. These coins stand as reminders that perfection isn't always what makes something valuable. It's the flaws, the deviations from the norm, that make them unforgettable. Collectors who've managed to acquire these rare 2001 dimes often treat them as crown jewels of their collections. They're showcased in protective cases, sometimes graded and certified by professional services like PCGS or NGC, which confirm their authenticity and condition. Once certified, these coins gain even more prestige, and their values at auction can climb even higher. The combination of rarity, demand, and official recognition pushes their status into legendary territory among collectors. When we step back and consider how a 10-cent piece became valued between $46,500 and $120,000, it reinforces the notion that numismatics is more than just a hobby. It's a way of connecting with history, appreciating craftsmanship, and uncovering treasures hidden in plain sight. Every coin has a story, but some, like the 2001 dime error, tell a story so rare and captivating that they forever change how we look at spare change. So, the next time you hold a dime from your pocket, think about the journey it has taken, the history it carries, and the possibility that it could be one of those rare treasures. Because in the world of coins, the line between ordinary and extraordinary is razor thin. And sometimes, the tiniest coin can carry the biggest surprise. In the world of American coins, some years stand out not because of the volume minted but because of the unexpected treasures that slipped through the presses. One such hidden treasure is the 2004 US 1-dime coin error, a coin that most people would mistake for ordinary change. Yet its story and rarity have elevated it to one of the most fascinating pieces collectors dream of discovering. At first glance, a dime from 2004 looks like every other Roosevelt dime you've seen. The obverse side carries the familiar profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, a design introduced in 1946 to honor the late president, while the reverse features the torch, olive branch, and oak branch symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. But in the case of the error varieties that emerged in 2004, the difference lies not in the design itself, but in the way the coin was struck, and those differences have transformed what was meant to be a 10-cent piece into a collectible valued far beyond its face value. Some of these error dimes from 2004 have been auctioned and appraised in a range that can truly shock you, from $40,000 to $111,000, a staggering leap for something originally worth only 10 cents. What makes this coin so captivating to collectors is the way errors occurred during its production. The U.S. Mint is known for precision, but even in a modern minting facility, mechanical issues, die deterioration, or simple oversight can produce rare variants. A common error type in 2004 involved misstrikes where the coin was off-center, sometimes enough to distort Roosevelt's portrait or cut away parts of the lettering. Another variety seen was double die strikes, where doubling in the inscriptions like Liberty or the date 2004 caught sharp-eyed collectors' attention. These subtle but unmistakable errors turned everyday pocket change into a collector's dream. The fascination with this particular dime is heightened by how such coins often circulate undetected for years. Millions of dimes pass through people's hands daily for vending machines, laundry, or change at the store, but hidden among them could be one of these errors. In 2004, dimes were produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and error coins could be traced to either location, adding another layer of intrigue for numismatists who seek to catalog and authenticate them. The hunt for one of these special dimes is part of what fuels collectors, because the idea of stumbling across a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars among ordinary change is both thrilling and very real. Collectors value error coins because they highlight the human and mechanical side of minting. A flawless coin represents the standard, but an error coin tells a story of imperfection, chance, and survival. In the case of the 2004 dime, the coin's small size makes it even easier for errors to go unnoticed. Yet those who know what to look for often zero in on the date, lettering, or alignment of the design. Some examples display broad striking errors where the blank planchet shifted in the press, leaving large portions blank. Others might reveal die cracks that look like raised lines across the coin surface, giving it a distinct and unmistakable character point. One of the most compelling aspects of this dime is how its value is tied not just to rarity, but to demand. Collectors and auction houses know that coin enthusiasts are eager to add dramatic errors from the modern era to their collections. While older coins often carry value because of their age, a 2004 dime carries value because of its anomaly. And when auction houses have listed them, bidders have driven prices from $40,000 up to an eye-popping $111,000, depending on condition, clarity of the error, and provenance. Such sales prove that the coin market isn't just about gold or ancient rarities. Sometimes it's about the unexpected quirks in even the most ordinary denominations. What's fascinating is that many people overlook dimes, Unlike larger coins such as quarters or half dollars, the dime's small size makes it easy to dismiss. Yet for seasoned collectors, dimes are a treasure trove of potential errors. The 2004 dime has joined the ranks of other famous error coins, such as the 1916 Mercury dime with its misstrikes, or the 1942-41 overdate dime. While those older examples are classics, the 2004 dime proves that even in the 21st century, the mint is not immune to producing mistakes that capture the attention of the numismatic world. The emotional draw of coins like the 2004 error dime also comes from the possibility that anyone could find one. Unlike rare gold coins locked away in collections or safes, error coins often enter circulation unknowingly. Someone may have spent one at a gas station, and from there it could have traveled across the country, handed from person to person, until a sharp-eyed collector spotted the anomaly. That element of chance creates an exciting dynamic for people who take time to check their change. The thought that a dime in your pocket might be worth $40,000 to $111,000 adds a sense of adventure to everyday life. Collectors who specialize in error coins often talk about the wow factor. When you show someone a dime with Roosevelt's head shifted awkwardly or inscriptions doubled in clear relief, it becomes a talking point, a story, and a symbol of the unpredictability of minting. It's not just a coin anymore. It's a piece of history, an accident preserved in metal. And in the numismatic world, these accidents are celebrated, studied, and fought over in auctions. For those wondering how to identify one of these dimes, the key is careful observation. Look for doubling in the lettering, unusual spacing in God We Trust, or distortions in the date. Pay attention to off-center strikes where parts of the coin design are missing or misplaced. Even small die cracks can set a coin apart, though the more dramatic the error, the higher the potential value. Of course, authentication by a professional grading service is essential, since that is what gives collectors confidence to pay such staggering amounts. Stories circulate about lucky finds, such as a collector who discovered a 2004 dime with a major off-center strike in pocket change and later sold it at auction for tens of thousands of dollars. These stories fuel the dream for others, proving that extraordinary finds are not confined to old attics or inherited coin collections. Sometimes, they're hiding in the coins we carry every day. The 2004 US dime error coin is a perfect example of why numismatics captivates so many people. It bridges the gap between the ordinary and extraordinary, between a 10-cent coin and a six-figure collectible. With values reaching between $40,000 and $111,000, it shows how chance, rarity, and collector demand can elevate even the smallest piece of change into something remarkable. And perhaps the greatest allure of all is the possibility that one could still be out there, unnoticed, waiting to be discovered in everyday circulation. The year 2014 may not seem all that far away, yet in the world of coin collecting, it already feels like a different era. In that year, the United States Mint was continuing the long tradition of striking Roosevelt dimes, a design first introduced back in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt. These coins were minted by the millions, and for most Americans, they were simply everyday change tossed into pockets, coin jars, or cash registers. But what if one of those 2014 Roosevelt dimes wasn't ordinary? What if, due to a mistake during production, one of these coins contained an error so striking that it would completely change its destiny, transforming it from a simple 10-cent piece into a rare collectible worth tens of thousands of dollars? That is exactly the case with the 2014 US one-dime coin error, a fascinating piece of numismatic history that today can fetch between $30,000 and $91,000 at auctions, and among collectors. To appreciate why this coin holds such value, it's important to step back and understand the context of the Roosevelt dime itself. The dime is one of the smallest and most frequently used denominations in US currency. Since 1946, the Roosevelt dime has remained relatively unchanged in its design, featuring Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. By 2014, the design was familiar to every American, but familiarity also meant that no one looked closely. When a small error slips into something so routine, it often goes unnoticed by the general public, which is exactly why error coins like this are so rare today. Error coins happen for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's a misalignment of the die, sometimes it's a double strike, and sometimes the planchet itself, the blank piece of metal used to strike the coin, is flawed. In 2014, at least a handful of Roosevelt dimes were struck with noticeable errors. For most, the mistake went undetected until sharp-eyed collectors discovered them. What makes this coin so extraordinary is not only the fact that it slipped through the mint's quality control, but also that such errors are few and far between in modern U.S. coinage. The mint operates with strict standards and high-speed machinery, making large-scale errors rare, and surviving examples even rarer. Collectors are drawn to these 2014 dime errors because they tell a story about the human and mechanical side of minting. A typical coin error from this year might include off-center strikes, double dies, or even coins struck on improper planchets. For example, an off-center strike might leave part of the coin's design missing, giving it a lopsided look that makes it instantly stand out. A double die error can cause parts of the lettering or Roosevelt's profile to appear doubled, creating a ghost-like image. Planchet errors might leave dents, missing metal, or unusual textures across the surface of the coin. Each one of these variations can make a coin not only unique but also highly desirable to collectors who seek pieces that stand apart from the billions of ordinary dimes in circulation. Now, when we bring in the matter of value, this is where things become even more fascinating. A regular 2014 dime is worth exactly 10 cents. But with an error, especially one that is dramatic and well-preserved, the same coin can leap into an entirely new world of value. Collectors and auction houses have recorded sales of the 2014 Roosevelt dime error ranging anywhere from $30,000 to $91,000 depending on the severity of the error, the condition of the coin, and the interest of bidders. This range is astonishing when you consider that a dime could be left sitting in a jar of spare change for years, completely overlooked, yet potentially worth more than the average person's yearly salary. One reason collectors are willing to pay so much is because error coins tap into both rarity and intrigue. Rarity is straightforward. The fewer of these coins exist, the higher the value. Intrigue comes from the fact that each error coin is essentially one of a kind. No two error coins look exactly the same, even if they share the same type of mistake. That uniqueness makes them highly collectible. Owning a 2014 dime with a dramatic error is like owning a fingerprint from history, something that no one else has and something that can't ever be reproduced. The condition of the coin also plays a massive role. Collectors and grading services use scales like the Sheldon scale to assess a coin's quality, with grades ranging from poor to mint state. An error dime in poor condition might still hold value simply because of its rarity, but one in high-grade condition, where the details of the error are crisp and the coin shows little to no wear, can skyrocket in value, reaching that $91,000 mark. Coins that have been preserved in protective holders, untouched since minting, tend to command the highest premiums. Beyond monetary value, the 2014 error dime carries cultural and historical significance. Coins are small artifacts that connect us to the systems, technologies, and people of their time. A modern error coin reminds us that even in an age of precision and automation, imperfections still occur. For collectors, that imperfection is not a flaw but rather the very essence of the coin's beauty and importance. It tells us that despite the mint's strict standards, a small oversight created something extraordinary. Stories of these error coins have circulated within numismatic communities, sparking treasure-hunting enthusiasm among casual collectors and everyday people. Some individuals have shared accounts of finding unusual-looking dimes in pocket change, only to discover later that they held significant value. While it's rare, the possibility of stumbling upon a coin like this in circulation is part of what fuels excitement. Imagine sifting through a roll of dimes from the bank and suddenly spotting an odd-looking 2014 piece. For the average person, that discovery could translate into tens of thousands of dollars. Auction houses and private sales continue to highlight the demand for the 2014 Roosevelt dime error. When one surfaces, it often attracts competitive bidding, with collectors eager to add it to their portfolios. In some cases, these coins end up in the hands of museums or prominent private collections where they're preserved as examples of modern minting anomalies. Each sale not only drives up the perceived value of these coins but also adds to their lore as the years pass. The rarity of these 2014 dime errors will only increase. Many may have been lost, spent, or overlooked, never to be recognized for what they truly are. This scarcity adds a sense of urgency for collectors, knowing that once these coins find homes in permanent collections, opportunities to acquire them will become fewer and farther between. For those who are lucky enough to own one, it is not just a coin. It's an investment, a conversation piece, and a tangible slice of American minting history. So when you think of the 2014 U.S. Roosevelt dime, remember that most are worth 10 cents, but the rare error examples hold staggering value, ranging from $30,000 to $91,000. These coins are proof that even in the most ordinary objects, hidden treasures can exist. For collectors, enthusiasts, and treasure hunters alike, the allure of discovering such a coin is what keeps the passion for numismatics alive. It's not just about the monetary worth. It's about the thrill of history, the chase for rarity, and the joy of knowing that even a simple dime can become something priceless.